Okay, so the question is, what exactly did Julian Assange do and what is he being charged with? And this is really interesting. So for those of you that don't know the whole story, Julian Assange runs the website WikiLeaks, which publishes classified information on a variety of governments and topics. They've been accused of only targeting their enemies like America and helping out, despots like Russia. But regardless, they publish things that companies and more often governments don't want you to see. In 2010, at the time, Bradley Manning, now Chelsea Manning, was an intelligence officer for the United States military and got a hold of a ton of classified information, activity reports, things that the United States government had classified as secret, but they had on these servers that were available to everybody. And the reason they made this available to everybody with secret clearance is, after 9/11, there was a big push to share information between agencies. If everybody had known what everybody else known, 9/11 might have been preventable. So after that, the government said, we're going to let the military know what the NSA knows, what the FBI knows. Everybody shares this information. So from those databases, Private Manning was able to download a ton of these reports and then pass them off to Julian Assange. And then Julian Assange published them on WikiLeaks, right? Now, Private Manning was convicted of espionage and sentenced to 35 years because they had broken the law in getting access to those things. It is not against the law if you're a media organization to publish secret information, even though the way it was gotten might have been illegal, right? It is not against the law to do that. There are strong First Amendment protections. The United States government has been claiming for years that WikiLeaks is not a media organization, and therefore they don't have those protections. But what's interesting is they didn't charge Julian Assange with espionage. So if you look at the actual charge, which was mistakenly made public, they're kind of laying out the case here. And by the way, this is publicly available. You can download the full Assange indictment anywhere. Just Google it. But see, this is what Julian Assange is actually being charged with, not the sharing of classified information. He's not being charged with treason, which would be tough because he's not an American citizen anyways. But he's being charged with helping Chelsea Manning crack a password, right? In order to get access to more information, in order to hide her activities downloading this information. And if you look at the specific chat log, assuming everybody here is who we think they are, it's quite clear that Prez Association at Jabber, that is supposed to be Julian Assange, and Dog Network is supposed to be Chelsea Manning. So Chelsea Manning asked for help cracking a password, right? How are you good at hash cracking, with cracking passwords? And then this right here, I can't highlight it, but you know what I'm talking about. That is actually part of a Windows NT password. One of the things that makes old Windows passwords particularly vulnerable is they could be split up into two parts, and you could crack them separately through a technique called rainbow tables. And in fact, if you're in our ethical hacking class or you participate in the National Cyber League with us, it's one of the things we always do is fire up OPH crack in order to do that. And that looks exactly like half of a Windows password. And theoretically, if it's a very short password, that could be the whole password. That could be used for Chelsea Manning to log in as somebody else. So the actual charge is not treason, not spreading of American secrets, but with trying to hack into American systems by cracking this password. The American government did that for a few reasons. Again, like we said, it'd be hard to charge treason if they're not an American citizen. Two, you have strong First Amendment protections if you are a media organization, and there's a strong case to be made that WikiLeaks is a media organization and enjoys those First Amendment protections. And 3, if he's charged with espionage or treason, there's the potential for a death penalty, right? Even though in practice you wouldn't get it, that potential exists. And many European countries will not extradite to America if it's a death penalty case. So the American government's very, very smart. They're going to charge him with a very specific crime that's very clearly laid out, and they have clear probable cause here. And it's something that only carries 5 years in prison, but they're not going to charge him with a larger thing that could be argued it's a First Amendment free speech issue or it's a death penalty issue. All of that is off the table because they're only charging him with helping Chelsea Manning crack a password, right? So it's a really interesting case. And I also think it's kind of interesting because these are the things that we learn how to do in our classes all the time. And this is why we tell you, hey, only do this on systems where you have permission. Because if you do it on a system where you don't have permission, you are committing a crime. If you had questions about what's going on with Julian Assange and why he's in the news right now, this is the main reason.